Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Have you ever experienced this issue where you try to export assets from Blender to Unity and then you notice the axes are weird or they are flipped? So today I'll be showing you a quick solution to solve this. Actually, there are two ways, but I'm going to show you the two ways. So here's what we're going to be getting. As you can see, I have my Y, X, and Z coordinates arranged like this, same way we have it in Unity. Here is it. This is how it's arranged in Unity. We have Y, X, Z. So Unity uses Y up, while Blender uses Z up. So this issue usually results in having a flipped object. So here is a quick and easy solution. As you can see, the way this object is arranged in Blender, it's the same way it is arranged in Unity. If you're having this issue, here is a quick tutorial for you. All right, guys. So here is the first fix. If you have your blend file embedded directly into your Unity, like this, just the way I have it here, this box.blend file is dragged directly into this model folder in my Unity file. So if I should drag this box to the scene now, you can see this. I have this Y, X, Z is properly aligned. Well, this is actually tricky. This is very, very wrong. And sometimes I might just continue modeling and say, okay, everything is fine. But this is actually wrong and it's tricky. And if you do this, you can just see if I reset it back to 0, as you can see, we have minus 90, minus 89 here. If I just reset it back to 0, and then you see that this is actually not correct and is aligned wrongly. But you can see, okay, it's fine. You can still leave it back at minus 90. Everything will be cool. Just like this. And there, this is actually wrong and this is tricky. So let me show you an example. So if I should duplicate this file now, let's say Shift D and then drag this forward a bit, and then when I save and then I go back to Unity, it gets messy. Here you see it. You see the way this is arranged. This is wrong. This is not the actual way. This is not what we really want. So we can still reset it back to 0, and then you'll be like, oh, actually it's fixed, but it's actually wrong. This is the second box, this is the first box. So the way to get this fixed and then to properly allow your object to align the same way you have it in Blender, you just need to go back to Blender. We need to create an empty. So just click on Shift A, click on an empty, and then select arrows. So you can use any empty you like, but I prefer to use the arrows. So let me just turn these two off. Now you can see we have our X, our Z, X, and Y axis this way. So what we want is we want it to be properly aligned the same way we have it here in Unity. So all you just need to do is to go to your rotation, set this the X to minus 90, then the Y to minus 180. Now we have our Y up, our Z, and then our X. So all we just need to do now is to drag these two files into this empty. And you can do this by selecting these two files and then holding Shift, and then I drag it into the empty. And then that is it. So I just need to click on save, and then I go back to my Unity file, let it import, and here you have it, guys. So these two boxes are aligned the same way I have it in Blender. So one thing to note, this main object should be reset to 0. So as you can see, I have 0, 0, 0, 0, and 1, 1, 1 here. So this is very, very important. So now if I should move this box here in Blender, let's see, I move it here, and then I click on save. And then if I go back to Unity, as you can see, it updates in real time and they are properly aligned. So here I have my Y, I have my Z, I have my X, and then I have my Z. So here, that is it. If that is the first solution, if you have your blend file embedded directly inside of Unity. So now let's move to the second solution. All right, so the second approach is if you just click on a box and then you export it to Unity. So I have my box here. So let me just delete this one real quick and then export it. Yeah, just export. And then if you go back to Unity, here's the box. Let's drag it here. So this is the box. As you can see, the scaling is wrong, the rotation is wrong, everything is just wrong about this. So what we need to do is to tell Blender how to export this file so other DCC tool can actually understand this. So let's delete this and then go back to Blender. So I click on this box and then I click on the export. Now what we need to do now is to configure how Blender export our file. So The first thing we need to do is to go back to the forward. So remember I said Unity use Z forward, not minus Z forward. So just change the Z forward to Z forward, and then our Y up is by default. Unity uses Y up. So this is correct. Now what we just need to do is to apply the transform. So this is going to reduce the scaling back to 1. So we have 1 here. So it is going to apply the scaling. And then that is all. So when I export my FBX now, and then I go back to Unity, then I drag the box here. As you can see, the scaling is set to 1, and then the rotation, the Y rotation is set to minus 180. Actually, we don't need to reset it back. This is actually correct. So now if I should go back to Blender and then I duplicate this, Shift D, then I drag it forward a bit, rotate it like this, and then I click on save. Now if I should click on export FBX, FBX2, and then I don't need to set this again. At least Blender remember this for a while. So if I should click on export and then I go back to Unity, there we have it. So we have our file like this. So the orientation is correct. We don't need to rearrange or reassign it. So now one more trick. So if we don't want to reset this in every single blend file we make, we can actually save this as a preset. So here you can see we have operator preset. So if I should click on this plus button, I need to assign a name to this. So let's say FBX2, because I already have my own FBX set up. So if I should click on this FBX2 now, anytime I want to export a file, all I need to do is to click on operator preset and select FBX2, and now the configuration will reset back to the one I set earlier. So that is the whole process, guys. So thanks for joining. Hopefully I see you again in my next tutorial.